Okay. Charming noise. Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, and others, wherever you're listening to us. Thank you for joining in. We've got some upcoming announcements sometime soon. We're just not going to share them with you tonight. So
Yeah, you
it's
don't
a
deserve to
cliffhanger.
know.
There you go.
You're not, you people aren't worthy enough to know these announcements yet. You must perform the rituals.
You can't sit at our table.
So
Tom will beat you up.
if you haven't figured out by now, you are listening to the Turkish Diplomats present Charming Noise, and we're just a bunch of very old high school students. And tonight's presentation is a remake prequel something of a Pam Grier classic that we covered in a previous episode. It's called I forgot the name. The Dollhouse, the Big Dollhouse.
Big Dollhouse.
The Big Dollhouse. And the main reason that we decided we were going to cover this film is childish and stupid, but that's why we went with it.
It's always worked for us in the past.
It has. It really has.
That and brute force and ignorance.
Yes.
Nation.
Three simple reasons is one, Pam Grier, two, Pam Grier, three, Sig Haig.
It's like Brother Paul and I were talking a minute ago. I was kind of let down by how little Pam Grier was actually in this film. She wasn't. Her role was somewhat diminished,
especially because she was given. I think she was given top billing, wasn't she?
Yeah. Well, Tom, what do you think of the movie? What is your first reaction?
Okay, so my impressions of this film is it's forgettable. Plain and simple.
I agree.
It's a loose take on the Defiant Ones, which also, Black Mama, White Mama was. But that had...
And did a much better job with, I think.
Yeah, it had more substance to it. This one here touched on the idea. It was almost the same cast. For me, I had to keep reminding myself that Sid was not a pimp in this film who was also a roving bounty hunter.
Right.
But he was actually a prison fruit seller.
Well, we all have dreams. I mean, he was playing a pretty straight character. He wasn't a criminal in this one. He was somebody
till the end. I mean,
well, okay.
There was that little, rape. But other than that,
so here's the basic plot to get into the heart of the movie. Pam Grier and somebody else gets arrested. I don't even remember who the other one was, but they bring them to this prison somewhere in the Philippine jungles, and they have to establish themselves in their cells. So Pam has been there for a while. The new fish has come in, and she's kind of quickly introduced to all the characters. There's the one woman who lays on the top bunk and just kind of snarls at everybody. She's the one that everyone fears. There's the junkie who needs a fix bad and is, well, lack of a better terminology, she's Pam Grier's bitch. She does whatever Pam wants her to do.
Yeah. It's obvious. Yeah, she says so.
And there's a couple of other women in there who have other kind of stereotypical kind of roles that represent big caricatures of everybody. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, that just watch Cool Hand Luke, and you'll see every character in that film represents somebody in a prison somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
This one here, this movie, it was just, I think, poorly written, poorly done, and they did the best with what they had. When everything starts to go wrong for them is basically when Sid's partner or employee, I'm never really quite sure.
he's like the new guy he's training.
Yeah,
Fred.
Fred, he starts asking Sid if he's ever gotten lucky with any of the girls. And of course, Sid's got to talk a big game, but then backs out of any and everything once it's presented to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And it goes on like that for
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
yeah. They're going through, the girls are like, hey Sid, or whatever his name was, what do you got for us today? And he's like, I got cigarettes, I got mangoes, I got bananas, this, that, and the other thing. And they sometimes make a trade with cigarettes, sometimes they make a trade with groping.
Yeah, he gets to feel Pam Grier up in exchange for something.
Yeah. And then the girls decide that they're not going to put up with this weird, torturous behavior going on by the warden and um, what was she, the head security guard?
Who are you talking about?
You're talking about the warden, the one that had the very strange voice.
Yeah, she was having dinner with the doctor, and
Oh, yeah.
That was the other. Yeah, that was like the head lady above the warden, I think. And I
okay.
got a little confused on who was in the priorities
The movie,
of that prison.
the film just did not hold my interest well enough for me to remember names or who did what.
Yeah, and the doctor in here was kind of like a humanitarian who
Yeah,
wanted to treat the girls right and civilized. And then there was the warden. I'm going to call her the warden.
sure.
She would say, "Oh yes, I agree with you completely, doctor. Let's have dinner tonight." And then she would disappear when something would happen and put on a hood, show up in this dungeon-like area like she was Cobra leader, and
Go, Joe.
and they would and the lieutenant of the guards was this kind of a Nazi caricature of a girl who would strap them to a table and dangle a cobra on a rope just above their heads, and it would try to bite them, strike down and bite them, and it made no sense why they were doing any of
They were
this.
just doing it to be cruel, I guess, to break their
Yeah,
spirits.
It and the machinery they had to lower the snake was pretty intricate, considering it's just something lowering a snake. That's all it was.
yeah, a
Yeah.
snake on a stick on a rope.
There was the one instance where they put a hood over the girl's head who was being tortured, and then they just dripped water on the hood while she's covered in a pillowcase, essentially. And I'm like, that's the weakest waterboarding attempt I've ever seen.
Yeah, it wasn't even a trickle of water. It was like drop,
Yeah,
drop,
yeah. I
drop.
mean, there's the classic torture where the one drop hits the same spot over and over, but this thing was just swinging around and dropping water. And I'm like, the entire movie seemed uninspired from the start.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
they were tired. This was the last movie in the contract, and they just wanted to go home.
See, this is the movie that when you went to see it at the drive-in, unlike Black Mama, White Mama, even if you were trying to make out with the girl, that movie would draw your attention because there was always something a little bit insane on the screen. This one here, even the nerds who snuck in the trunk of a car were looking for some other kind of distraction. They were on the back row watching somebody else make out.
Yeah.
They were getting back in the trunk and saying, "Take me home."
Yeah.
I got to say that we're kind of skipping. I'm kind of skipping pretty far forward in the film.
Yeah.
Yes,
It won't hurt.
they end up escaping the
Mhm.
prison, right? And the escaping scene when they're actually it looked like that was actually pretty good.
That was pretty well
And that was pretty
choreographed.
enjoyable. Although they went from like apparently 5 guards to 30. I mean, she had let the crazy talking warden lady had let 2 of the guards go, and I thought she was alone,
Yeah.
except for the doctor and the lady that he was having the dinner with, and then all of a sudden it turns out, I mean, they got gun turrets everywhere, and they're blasting away, and it really is kind of like the end of Dirty Dozen where they're crashing out of there, and a couple of folks, instead of Jim Brown doing that last run, at the end,
Oh, across the bridge.
Yeah.
and getting cut down by machine gun fire. It's the lady that went after the cat.
Yeah.
Remember, the cat jumps out, and I'm like, you know what? I think, fuck that cat. You're escaping. You may not even make it through the gate. Let's not slow anyone down by chasing, So I hope that, I think that the real moral of this film is chasing pussy can get you in trouble. All right.
So let's get to the escape for a moment.
Do what, Tom?
Let's get into this escape for a moment because it had what I thought was one of the strangest buildups to an escape ever. Because they're in a rice field,
Yeah.
ankle deep in mud,
Right.
and they're just moving water from the left to the right. They're not planting anything. They're not harvesting anything.
They're not planning, or they're just like, we got to make sure this mud is stirred.
And one of them actually says, "We got to get out of this shit," and that's when the decision to escape started taking place.
Like nobody had ever uttered that sentence in this prison before. And when it was spoken aloud, they all just woke up.
Yeah.
No one had ever talked to each other about, it sucks being here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just...
you know what? I do not like prison.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I will say the ending that caught me completely off guard. That's the only good thing I can say about this movie.
Okay, so one of the first things that they did was they went against all D&D logic. They split their party.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had decided that, I forget what her name was, the big butchy girl of bully that everybody was afraid of. I'm going to call her Big Mo.
Her name did start with a B.
Okay, so Big Mo B. She goes, none of this will work unless Pam Grier decides that she's going to take care of her part in this. Well, Pam's junkie girlfriend is Jones and bad, so Pam's got to come up with 2 things at once. 1, her part of the plan for the escape, and 2, some smack for her girlfriend so that they can get out without her going through withdrawals and dying on the way.
And to call back to the cat part, apparently there were some keys that were stolen that were going to unlock everything. And they were supposed to be tied to the cat.
Yeah.
And the cat would go to where somebody was being tortured again. And so
They had a
while
lot of confidence in that cat. I've got
they
to say.
They
did,
did.
but so Pam's tying the key to this cat, and her junkie girlfriend is writhing around and begging and pleading for a fix. And then they apparently the timing was off and the cat showed up late or something. I don't know. Um,
Something didn't go right at that point with the damn cat.
yeah. It's
So
like I
they
said, the movie is so forgettable, and I should have taken notes, obviously, but
No, it wasn't worth taking notes, I'm telling you. Uh,
I,
it
I,
was
I made one
expensive,
note.
motherfucker.
I made one note, if I can find it. Like I've got the heading on my because I make notes for every movie, but
Yes.
other than and this is it. This is my entire notes. I just because my quote of the movie: "Don't let your alligator mouth override your hummingbird ass."
Seriously, that's something that you might hear in southern Arkansas.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is. I can hear my dad saying something like that.
so
Um,
so Big Mo D is she gets the crew together and they're going to go and rescue the girl that's being tortured, whoever it was.
Alcott. It was, I think her name was Alcott. She was the main woman in this story, but they never gave a reason why.
Yeah.
She was
And
the new fish in the cell,
She would get
and
in trouble for like nothing except
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
and so they break into the torture area, they free her, they put the lieutenant on the rack with the snake dangling above. They've chased the warden, who they don't know is the warden, but just some masked hooded person who likes watching them being tortured.
yeah.
And they capture
Very
her, and
Scooby Doo reveal.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh my God, it is the warden!" And they
I'd have
hijack it.
gotten away with it too if it.
Yeah, but I've got to back up a little bit. The thing that helped trigger all of this was Sid and was it Fred?
Sid and Fred.
Fred.
Sid and Fred. They decide that they are going to do it with a couple of the inmates. So they go back in and they give some bullshit claim, and then that gets them through the gate. And then they go to one of the guards who dies like 5 times in this film. She dies over and over and over. And they get her drunk. Fred is about to get with her. Sid goes off. Somehow, or I don't even remember how, but Sid gets like wounded and they all escape. They all jump in the truck and they all start to bust out through the gate. And that's where things actually sort of pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the part of the movie worth watching other than the Sid Haig scenes.
yeah. I mean, there's the moment where it's my son entering the room like a ghost he is.
Ethereal Connor?
Ethereal Connor. Well, they at this point in the escape, they've captured Dietrich. She was the one doing the torturing. Dietrich was her name.
Okay.
And then there was the warden, who had, who was having dinner with the doctor while all this is going on, and she's trying to get it on with the doctor while the escape is going on. And just someone tells her what's up, so they all leave, they all rush out. So then at some point, they've got her tied up in the back of the Jeep.
They make the threat, let us go or we kill the warden. And the warden screams, kill them all. So that's when all these 5 guards turn into 30. And they just come out of the woodwork, and the one main prison guard who was drunk runs out and she gets shot,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think by her own guards. And then she runs out again a few minutes later on and she gets shot again. And it just she gets shot in the jungle. uh,
This is a very bad place to be shot.
Yeah. I hate to be shot in the jungle.
I do too.
and
I'm
then
alone.
the
Um,
weird part happens where all the little odd twists and turns kind of start to take place.
Yeah.
And the first one is they found a nice spot. They have stripped Sid and Fred of their clothes
And we're stealing your Jeep.
and we're stealing their Jeep. And the guards start creeping up on them.
Yeah.
And one of the girls says to Sid, "You want to do it? Go ahead." And he's like, I'll wait, I'll pass. And then
Yeah, so she's trying to get him to assault the warden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't want to do it because Sid has talked this big game about being, such a man's man this whole time, and now he doesn't want to do it.
And at gunpoint, they insist he perform. And so he's like, okay, we'll do it. And he starts climbing into the truck. And that's when all of the guards who have surrounded the truck open fire and kill nobody. They are shooting left, they are shooting right. They're
like
worse
10
than,
feet from the truck too.
yeah, and they're worse than stormtroopers. They can't
with
hit
German machine guns.
Yeah. And it's one of the oddest gunfights because one girl with a pistol killed like 10 guards with a 6-shooter. Yeah, it's
Well, one of our heroines, she gets wounded, and as you see her crawling through the mud toward the Jeep, and the mud has been created by a leaky gas tank, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, she flicks a lighter and blows that Jeep all the way up.
Well, they have, just before she does that, they show like a little trickle of this liquid.
Yeah,
It just looks like muddy water.
it does. You're
And
right.
there's been no hint that there's anything leaking from anything.
I
I
know.
was like, and until she pulled out the lighter, I was, oh, that's probably some kind of fuel, I guess.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, kids don't watch this movie.
Yeah, and meanwhile at the prison, it's her girlfriend that ends up killing her, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pam or
Pam.
yeah, it was Herod.
Oh yeah. The
That
Herald.
was before. See, she was supposed to join up with them.
Yeah.
And they were escaping. But once her junkie girlfriend had kind of flipped out because Pam couldn't get any smack from the lieutenant or whatever she was.
In the middle of an escape attempt.
Yeah. And so suddenly she says, well, maybe I won't, because Pam Grier makes some kind of comment about, if not, you're going to die out there if you don't start acting right. And she says, well, maybe I won't be the one to die first. And she plunges the knife into her neck, and Pam just bleeds out.
Yeah.
Suddenly. And then when Sid Haig's character gets there, Harry, when Harry gets there, he finds, because he was supposed to break in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this whole scene where he and Freddie have gotten lambanog, which is, and I did check on this. This is a true liquor.
Yeah.
That's made in the Philippines and actually is rated out of all liquors like number 2 in the world.
Wow.
It's made from palm, out of palm trees.
Yeah, like palm nuts or something like that.
And it's like a 80 to 90 proof liquor. And
I've had a Philippine liquor. I don't know what it was.
Maybe that.
But I wandered by when I lived in terrace apartments. It was during the Chinese New Year, and there was a guy that knew a guy who knew Wolf, who lived in the apartments where I did. And I walked by, and the guy goes, "Hey, you know Wolf? Yeah, come on in." And they handed me a cup with some of the stuff in it, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't do any more of this."
Well, he makes Fred take a big swig of this.
He does. He does.
And it just about burned right through Fred. And then he gets into, anyway, they get this one guard drunk, which there's been a whole running joke that he keeps forgetting to bring this stuff all through.
Yeah.
and Sid Haig, I swear to God, you can't help but watch him. He's the real star of this movie.
He really
You
is.
don't
He
want to,
really is.
the rest of them you could just give a flip for, other than Pam Grier. And but anyway, he gets to the cell and he finds she's been killed,
Yeah.
and her girlfriend's in this semi-catatonic state now, and he
Yeah.
basically figures out that she must have murdered her.
Yeah.
And it's clear that Harry's really upset. I think Harry genuinely cared for
Right. Right.
her character. So he ends up letting them know, and then that's when they have the big escape, basically.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Calvin.
Oh, I know. I really don't have much else to add. I mean, there's just so little to this movie. But I did, like I said, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, at the twist ending, my notes just say that ending. That's all it says.
Well, there's all kinds of little twists, because like when the warden is laying in the back of the chained up in the back of the truck, one of the prisoners, I think it may have been the main prisoner that was sort of the star of this thing.
Alcott, yeah.
She gets the gun and she's going to shoot her, but when she pulls the trigger, nothing happens. She said, "Oh yeah, used up all the shots escaping from here. Good thing I've got another one." And so once is she the one that ends up setting off? No, it's the other.
The other one. It's
that sets the fire, and one of the guards has jumped into the back of the truck to get the warden loose, and it blows up the truck.
Yeah, right.
And the guard, in one of the best bits of special effects, they've got this lady on fire. I mean, she is on fire. Like her back is on fire.
Yeah.
And I think the panic of her trying to get the fire put out was for real.
probably.
Because it didn't look like like the safety officer was on duty that day.
Right.
But anyway, the warden gets basically turned into barbecue in the back of that truck. So,
Yeah.
But there were several little things like that where they would have like a new twist. Here's something you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
No bullets in the gun. I got the gun. Too bad. I got another gun. I was going to a little bit of trivia on this movie. I would mention.
Okay. Go ahead.
So according to the notes on this, Pam Grier was working she was 18, and she was working as a receptionist at American International Pictures, which is the one that made both of these last two.
Yeah, right.
And so I was saying last week that Jack Hill that directed, which he directed this one too, it's not the same Jack Hill that did 48 Hours.
Okay.
But this guy did, he did a lot of movies with Pam Grier, including Coffee. He was kind of the king of the blaxploitation.
Yeah.
And, but she was working as a receptionist at AIP. Jack met her and ended up casting her. And this was pretty much her first big role.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's only like 19, 20.
So I guess that kind of explains why her role was so small in this.
I think so. Yeah.
I think because we're used to Pam Grier being, Pam Grier, know. So I didn't realize that she was that young in this.
Well, she was so, her presence is so big that the person who the movie is supposed to be we can't even remember her name.
Yeah.
And whereas Pam just, she's a star.
Yeah.
And so Sid Haig was a much more experienced actor and apparently was coaching Pam Grier on how to act in this movie.
Okay.
So
I mean, and there's something about Sid Haig and the two movies we've watched him in. You're just drawn to the guy. He's not good looking. He's ungainly. He had a fake Southern accent that he just nails perfectly. But you just drawn to Sid Haig's character, no matter what else is going on.
Yes.
I think and they must just Jack Hill must have just let him just improvise all he wanted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, there were some good lines, and there were a few good lines through there, but most of the lines were very, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this.
And there are, well, one thing about Sid, I'll say this. There's only a handful of actors in Hollywood who can do that raised eyebrow thing like he does. Because if he's surprised or if he's doing something sly or anything like that, it's like Groucho Marx, Sid Haig, and one or two other people who can just play off that raised eyebrow reaction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I may just have to do a deep dive into his movies just to see what else he's done.
Well, we could do an entire season on Sid.
We could. I mean, because he started in that one movie, a car racing movie from 1968 or something like that.
It's actually pretty shocking all the movies he has been in.
And then he gains fame toward the end of his life as Captain Spaulding in the horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The House of 10,000 Corpses, which I have to give Rob Zombie his props for that, because I mean,
it was an interesting twist on a horror movie.
It was, yeah, it really was.
But I'm not going to get into my dislike of most of Rob's work.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not either.
I will kind of point out. So Sid Haig was in a bunch of old TV shows, including a Star Trek episode, original Star Trek.
Yeah,
really,
and an original Batman. He was in The Flying Nun. I would love to see that episode. He was in an episode of Get Smart, and then his first movie is CC and CC and Company. Oh no, that was not his first movie. He was in a couple of movies before that, but then ended up being in THX 1138, which was, I think, was it Spielberg?
Lucas's first film with Robert Duvall.
Yeah, that's right. He does a lot of exploitation movies, and a lot of them with Jack Hill, directed by Jack Hill. He also does Shaft. I remember the episode of the Rockford Files he was in.
Yeah.
He was in, let's see if you remember this, Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
I do remember that. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he did all these little, and usually playing a heavy in most of these.
Yeah.
But he did an amazing number of movies.
Yeah.
And, important movies too. And so, yeah, it just, he must have been a fascinating guy.
Yeah. I bet he was. Well, what else is there to say about this?
Huh?
Well, what else is there to say about this film?
It sucked.
Are you saying you're not giving it your the Tom seal of approval there?
I'm sure that this movie meets all the criteria that we put on defining what a bad movie is.
Yes.
I'm sure that the actors that acted in it just went, it was a paycheck and I cashed it.
As soon as they yelled cut, they ran to the bank before the check bounced.
Yeah. and just on that alone, I'm going to say yes, it is a bad movie, great for anybody to watch on a bad movie night. I just don't recommend it. Go with Black Mama, White Mama.
Yeah, I mean the action in this movie comes too late.
Yeah,
it's disjointed.
Yeah, I can see a lot of people turning this thing off on television before they ever got to the.
But I'm going to spoil the ending. I can't help it.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Alcott gets away. She's the only survivor of this escape attempt, evidently. And she runs out into the road, throws her thumb up, and this guy pulls over. And when she gets in, he says, "Well, Mrs. Alcott, we've been looking all over the place for you." And he drives her back to prison.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I did not expect that.
I think they literally thought of that at the last second. You know, sometimes I think those boys do that on purpose. Anyway, that was the show. Join us next time for the Turkish Diplomats present Charming Noise.